Shockwaves are rattling through Atlanta, and the cameras caught it all. In a single explosive moment, what was supposed to be another dramatic day on the set of Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta turned into a headline that no one saw coming. Picture it, the lights blazing, the cast gathered, tempers already simmering from weeks of unresolved feuds, and then Kendra, with a voice trembling but unshakably loud, drops the bombshell that would send the entire set into chaos. "I'm pregnant, and it's Kirk's baby." The air froze. The silence that followed wasn't relief, it was suffocating disbelief. And right there, in front of the cast, crew, and every lurking rumor, Rasheeda's world shattered in real time. Tears welled in her eyes as she locked onto Kirk, her husband, the man who had already tested her patience and her pride more times than fans can count. But this time, the betrayal cut deeper than ever before. Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high instantly as whispers turned into screams, and the family was left divided. Some rushed to comfort Rasheeda, others gasped at Kirk's blank stare, while a few dared to look at Kendra as if she had detonated a bomb in the middle of the studio. Paparazzi outside the set reported chaos spilling out into the night, with phones buzzing as gossip pages lit up faster than wildfire. This isn't just another messy twist. It's the kind of scandal that threatens to tear apart friendships, marriages, and reputations in ways no one could script. How did Kirk end up entangled in yet another firestorm? Why did Kendra choose this very moment to reveal the truth? And could Rasheeda possibly find the strength to keep standing after this kind of public humiliation? Stay tuned, because this isn't just drama's devastation, and for the Frost family, life may never be the same again. The first voice to break the silence belonged to production. A sharp clap from the floor manager tried to restore order, but the room had already cracked open. Rasheeda's chair scraped against the studio floor as she stood. Her eyes were red, but her voice had iron in it. "Say it again," she said to Kendra. "Say it clear so nobody claims they misheard." Kendra lifted her chin. Her hands were steady now, as if the confession had given her both weight and balance. "I am pregnant. Kirk is the father." She did not blink. The monitors reflected her face back at her, two cold mirrors in a room full of heat. Kirk looked smaller than the room. He took a step forward and found himself taking it back. "This is not how you do it," he said. "We talk private. We do not feed a circus." Rasheeda laughed once. It had no humor in it. "A circus? Which ring are you in, Kirk? Because from where I am standing, it looks like you have been practicing." The crew kept filming. The cameras swung from face to face. People outside the circle peered over shoulders. Young Jock whispered to someone on the sidelines and then thought better of it. Both hands up as if to prove he was not touching any part of this fire. Carly Red slid her sunglasses higher on her head and watched, with the focus of a news anchor. Someone in makeup covered a gasp with a powder puff. "Please," Kendra said, turning toward the producers now. "Do not cut this. Let it be real. I carried the weight of this for weeks. I am tired of hearing that secrets are mercy. They are not mercy, they are poison." "Whose timeline?" Rasheeda asked. "Yours or mine? Because my whole life just got pushed off the calendar." Cameras rolled over the set like waves. Phones started buzzing against pockets. A producer passed a message to a director, and the director nodded. One of those slow, unhappy nods that meant the entire day had just been rewritten. "Fans are shocked," said a text from the social team. Emotions ran high in the comments already, and the family was left divided in public before anyone could choose their words. "I am going to be specific," Kendra said. "We did not plan this. I did not come here to humiliate anyone. But no more pretending." "Pretending is your specialty," Rasheeda said. Kirk rubbed his forehead. "I made a mistake," he said. He was not looking at anyone, as if the rafters could forgive him where the people could not. "I made a mistake and I tried to fix it quiet." "You do not get to call somebody's pregnancy a mistake," Kendra said. "You do not get to reduce me to your weak moment. I am a whole person." Jasmine stepped through the background like a rumor becoming a witness. She had not been called into the scene yet, but nothing about the day respected a schedule anymore. "You said you were tired of secrets," she said to Kendra. "So let me ask something flat. When did this start?" Kendra held her eyes. "After the reunion last spring." "That fast," Jasmine said. "Then spare me the speech about honesty." Jock slid between them on instinct. "We are not lining up for a brawl," he said. Everybody breathed. "Breathing will not fix the math," Rasheeda said. "Breathing will not put the pieces back." The director tried a new tactic. Can we move to the lounge set? He asked the room, so we can reset lights and continue this conversation with some space. No, Rasheeda said. We continue it here, in the light. I am done being graceful in the dark. She turned to Kendra again. You want honesty. Here is mine. You chose the one person who would cut me the deepest. There are 1,000 ways to break a heart, and you chose the one with the most witnesses. Kendra's jaw tightened. I did not choose him to hurt you. I chose him because I believed his words. He said he was lonely in his house. He said he was living like a tenant in his own marriage. He said he could not breathe. Lonely men still know how to knock on doors, Rasheeda said. You reached for a key. Kirk let out a breath that sounded like it had been trapped for months. Both of you, please. He looked at Kendra, then at Rasheeda, then at the lens that had no mercy for anybody. I was wrong, he said. I should have told the truth. Before it turned into theater. The truth was theater the moment you rehearsed it with someone else, Jasmine said. A ripple of chatter moved through the crew. A sound assistant swore softly. The social team fed fresh captions to the network. The phones went brighter. A blogger outside tweeted that people were crying on set. Another wrote that security had quietly edged closer to the cameras. Kirk, the producer, called from off-screen, voice low, we can pause if you want a private room. No, Rasheeda answered for him. He likes the stage. Let it be a stage. The mother of one of Kirk's older children appeared at the edge of the set. Not part of the call sheet but pulled in by the gravity of the moment. Kelsey stepped in next, voice shaking. Daddy, this is not just about romance. This is about the family name. It is about all of us who have to walk through stores and hear whispers. It is about me explaining to cousins why our tree keeps splitting. No, he said, and he looked like he meant it. The knowing did not change the facts that had arrived in Kendra's steady voice. The director signaled the second camera to drift toward the hallway. In the hall, 2 security guards stood like punctuation marks. Nobody wanted to end a sentence with a fight. Rasheeda's tears were quiet now, which made them harder to watch. How many times does one woman have to rebuild? She asked the room. How many times do you expect me to stand in the ashes and smile? No one answered. You do not answer a line like that unless you are lying or you are family. And nobody was brave enough to be either. Kendra pressed her palm against her stomach, an unconscious gesture that read like a headline. I know what this means for you, she said to Rasheeda. I know what it means for me, but a child is not a weapon. Do not make it one. Then do not point it at me, Rasheeda said. A wave of notifications hit at once. The network group chat lit up with executives watching the live feed from a control room across town. The decision came back as a single green light. Keep rolling. Jock reached for the nearest chair and sat down as if he were anchoring his body to the floor. Look, he said, I know everyone is ready to pick a team, but every time we split into teams, the internet eats what is left. Fans are shocked right now, but they are not the ones who have to sit with the silence after the cameras stop. Please slow down. Thank you, Pastor, Carly said under her breath. Pass the collection plate. Enough, the director said, firm now. We are not joking today. Kendra took a small step toward Rasheeda. I will take responsibility, she said. Whatever it costs. I will say it on camera. I will say it to your face. I will say it to your family. Say it to yourself first, Rasheeda replied. Because when the noise is gone, that is who you have to live with. The studio doors opened and a fresh rush of voices slid in from the corridor. Fans clustered behind velvet ropes, faces lit by phones. The rumor had bounced down the block and back. A photographer leaned around security and shouted a question nobody answered. A commentator from a gossip show stood on tiptoes and whispered into a microphone. The sound of outside opinion dampened the air indoors like humidity. The director made a decision. We are moving to the lounge, he said to the assistant director. Bring them now. We can surround the couch with a tighter team and cut the spill. They transitioned through the corridor in a tense procession. A camera floated backward. The cast followed its lens as if drawn by a tide. In the lounge, the lights were warmer, the furniture lower, the distance smaller. A production assistant set waters on the table. No one touched them. Let's start here, the director said, voice level. Kendra, why today? Because I was done hiding, Kendra answered, and because the baby is not a secret. My doctor said I am entering the second trimester. I could keep pretending for a while. I do not want to build a life on pretending. Is there proof? Someone asked from the shadowed edge of the crew. The word echoed against the walls. Kendra did not flinch. Yes, there are appointments. There are dates. There is a test. Whose test? Carly asked. A test that spells your name, or a test that spells his too? Kirk shut his eyes. Enough, he said. We are not doing a courtroom in a lounge. Rasheeda spoke without looking at him. A courtroom would be easier. At least in a courtroom, there are rules. Jasmine folded her arms. There are rules here too. We just never liked them. The door opened again. Mona walked in with the kind of calm that people earned by putting out fires for a living. She listened for 30 seconds without speaking. And the room softened for those 30 seconds because people wanted someone to tell them what to do. We are going to handle this clean, she said. No shouting over each other. No throwing hands. No cheap shots to win the internet for an hour and lose your family for a decade. If you need a break, you ask for one. If you can talk, talk. Rasheeda stared at the glass tabletop. Talking is all we do, she said. Talking is how we keep making content out of pain. Mona nodded. Then make it count. But do not make it cruel. She turned to Kendra. You have told them what you believe is true. Prepare for the pushback you will get. It is not just from the cast, it is from the world. I am tired of bracing, Kendra said. I would like to stand. Then stand, Mona said. She angled toward Kirk. And you, choose a sentence that is not a smudge. Are you in? Or, are you out? No riddles. Kirk took a breath. It shook his chest. I am the father, he said. The words were plain, and they were heavy. They fell into the room like a weight onto a scale. Rasheeda's body reacted first. Her shoulders flinched. Her hands pressed flat against her thighs. Tears ran cleanly down her face. Thank you for the clarity, she said. The gratitude and her voice was not gratitude at all. It was the relief that comes when a blade stops wobbling and finally lands. Fans are shocked, wrote a journalist in a live blog, and the line drew thousands of comments in minutes. Some people defended Kendra, others defended Rasheeda. Many attacked Kirk. Emotions ran high, and the family was left divided at a speed that felt cruelly efficient. Jock stood again. I am not going to preach, he said. I am going to be practical. There is a baby coming. That means we need a plan for real life, not just for television. Who is talking to who, and when, and how? Who is going to make sure people eat and sleep in the next week? Who is going to talk to the kids? Because they will see this, they already see it. Kelsey nodded miserably. He is right, she said. We need a plan. Mona gestured to the assistant director. Clear the outer ring, she said. Only core cast and essential crew. Everyone else step out for 15 minutes. The room thinned. The sound closed. In. The cameras stayed. Kendra, Mona said, what do you want from Kirk right now? Be basic. 3 words if you can. Show up, consistently, Kendra said. Rasheeda, Mona said, what do you want from Kirk right now? Leave my house, Rasheeda answered. And take accountability with you. Kirk swallowed. I can find a hotel, he said. I will talk to the kids tonight. I will talk to the lawyers tomorrow. No, Rasheeda said. You will talk to me like a human being first. Then you can talk to whoever you want. Jasmine's eyes flicked to the cameras. If we keep rolling, we invite the whole world into a conversation that should be held in a kitchen, she said. Just say it. We are rolling, the director said softly. Mona weighed the room and then nodded. We will stop in 10 minutes, she said. Use them. Say what you need to say, so we do not turn a 10-minute conversation into 10 months of subtext. Kendra looked at Rasheeda. I am sorry, she said. The apology was clean. I know. Sorry does not build a bridge. It is still the first plank. Rasheeda closed her eyes. I did not ask for your apology, she said. But I heard it. Kirk's voice came out raw. I hurt both of you, he said. I cannot rewrite that. I am going to step out of the house. I am going to show up for the appointments. I am going to pay for what I owe. I am going to listen. Add one more thing, Rasheeda said. You are going to stop calling your chaos a mistake. It is a choice. If you name it right, you might stop making it again. He nodded. It was a choice, he said. I chose wrong. The timer in Mona's head must have hit 0, because she tapped the back of a chair lightly and the crew slid into reset mode. We are taking a pause, she said. 15 minutes. Hydrate. If you need air, go with a producer. They spilled into the hallway in small clusters. The corridor hummed. A few fans outside shouted questions that nobody answered. Security held the line. Inside, the lounge stood empty except for a microphone left on the couch. Its tiny red light glowed like a heartbeat. In the hallway, Jasmine cornered Kendra near the craft table. "You said you were done hiding," she said, voice low. "Are you done competing too? Or is that part still on?" "I am not competing with anyone," Kendra said. "That is what people say when they are winning," Jasmine answered. "Just remember that winning does not last, but reputations do." Across from them, Jock stood with Kirk. "Brother," he said, "I am going to give you one sentence because I am not your father. Make decisions like you would want your son to make. If you would be ashamed to copy you, do not do it." Kirk nodded again. He was running out of nods. Rasheeda found a quiet patch of wall near the wardrobe racks. She leaned her forehead against the cool paint and let herself breathe, steady and slow, counting to 5 on each inhale. Carly approached with caution. "Do you want silence or honesty?" she asked. "Honesty," Rasheeda said. "You are strong enough to walk out," Carly said. "You are also strong enough to stay. Either way, your strength is not the headline. You are—" "I am tired of being a headline," Rasheeda said. "I want to be a person again." "Then be one," Carly said. "Even if the cameras roll." When they returned to the lounge, the energy had shifted. The flood had passed, and in its wake stood the shape of a new landscape. The director lifted a hand. "Back on," he said. The red lights flared. The world was watching again, even if the world did not deserve it. Mona stood to the side. "We are going to keep this controlled," she said. "A few questions, then we close this chapter for today." The first question came from the interviewer, who had been waiting all day for something else and now had a new script in front of her. "Kirk," she asked, "what do you say to fans who will call this the final straw?" "I say they do not live in my house," he said. "They do not know what the straws were before this one. But I hear them." "Rasheeda," the interviewer asked, "are you leaving?" "I am deciding," she said. "And I will not do it on a clock set by the internet." "Kendra," the interviewer asked, "are you prepared for the backlash?" "I am prepared for the pregnancy," Kendra said. "The backlash is noise. The baby is life." A murmured sound moved across the room at that, not quite approval, not quite anger. Something like the sound a crowd makes when it acknowledges a complicated truth. The interviewer aimed one more question at the whole room. "Is there any version of this where the family is not broken?" Jock answered before anyone else could. "Families bend," he said. "Sometimes they bend into better shapes. Sometimes they snap. We do not know yet." They closed the segment on that line because it fit the day like a lid on a too-full box. The director called cut. The cameras powered down. The silence that followed was not relief, but it was honest. It held the day the way a pair of steady hands holds a heavy bowl. Outside, the internet howled. Fans were shocked. Emotions ran high. With every refresh, the family was left divided in hashtags and live streams and comment wars. Inside, people collected their things, and a complicated quiet settled over the couches and cables and lights. Somewhere down the hall, a door clicked softly, and the echo of it followed them into evening. As the cameras cooled and the set emptied, the storm refused to die. It only shifted locations. The gossip blogs were already churning, pushing the clip of Kendra's announcement into the bloodstream of social media before the cast had even left the studio parking lot. By the time Kirk's car pulled out, 3 hashtags were trending. Fans were shocked, emotions ran high, and the Frost family's name was once again the centerpiece of a public meltdown. Rasheeda sat in her own car for nearly 20 minutes before even starting the engine. She kept her head down, hands pressed against the steering wheel, tears slipping past her lashes. The cameras outside caught none of it. Tinted windows were her only refuge. But inside, the weight of betrayal pressed heavier than anything she'd carried before. In her phone, missed calls from friends stacked up, each message a variation of the same stunned question. "Is it true?" Kendra, meanwhile, emerged from the set with her chin high. A small army of paparazzi waited for her, flashes bursting like fireworks in the Atlanta night. She didn't cover her face. She didn't run. Instead, she placed one steady hand on her stomach and let the cameras drink in the gesture. To some, it looked like pride. To others, it read like provocation. Within minutes, a tabloid site posted the headline, "Kendra claims her places, she carrying the new Frost heir." Kirk avoided the swarm altogether. Security ushered him through a back exit, and yet even that detail leaked online. Fans dissected it ruthlessly, saying his sneaky exit mirrored the sneaky choices that led to this disaster. Running in the shadows is all he knows, one viral tweet read, racking up thousands of likes. At home, Rasheeda's phone rang again. This time, it was her mother. "Baby," she said, her voice steady but laced with fire, "you are not about to let this man drag you through the mud again. You got a name, you got a business, you got children watching. Don't you dare let this humiliation define you." But before Rasheeda could even answer, another call beeped through, this one from Mona herself. The network wanted a statement. The producers wanted a plan. And the fans wanted blood. Across town, Kendra sat in her apartment with the lights dimmed, scrolling through the tidal wave of comments. Some cheered her for standing in her truth, others dragged her as the ultimate villain. The family was left divided. One fan account wrote, "But the internet is choosing sides at lightning speed." And in the middle of all of it, Kirk paced a hotel room floor, phone in hand, searching for the right words. For once, he had none. Would you like me to keep pushing the story into Rasheeda's emotional breakdown at home and Kirk's attempt to reach her privately? Or should I pivot to how the fans and castmates escalate the drama on social media and interviews? The storm that had erupted on set didn't quiet down when the lights dimmed or the cameras stopped. In fact, it grew louder, echoing in the streets of Atlanta and bouncing through every corner of social media. Within hours, clips of Kendra's confession had racked up millions of views across fan accounts, gossip blogs, and entertainment news outlets. Fans were shocked, emotions ran high, and the Frost family name became synonymous with chaos once again. Rasheeda returned home that night to a house that felt less like a sanctuary and more like a haunted stage. Every wall seemed to whisper Kirk's betrayals, every corner a reminder of how many times she had smiled publicly while bleeding privately. She dropped her bag by the door and collapsed onto the couch, scrolling through her phone as if the glowing screen could answer questions her heart couldn't. Her mother, Charlene, stormed in without knocking because boundaries meant nothing when your daughter was unraveling. "I told you," she snapped, arms folded across her chest. "I told you this man was trouble from day one. And now look at you. You're sitting here, crying again, while he's probably pacing some hotel, like a lost puppy." "Mom," Rasheeda whispered, her throat raw. "Please don't, not right now. Not right now, baby, there's never a right time to hear the truth, but it doesn't make it less true. Kirk's pattern is clear as daylight. First Jasmine, now Kendra. What's next? How many women before you finally walk away?" Rasheeda buried her face in her hands. "I thought we fixed it. After everything with Jasmine, I thought we actually rebuilt something." And now her voice cracked. "Now I don't even know who I'm married to anymore." Charlene sat beside her, softer now. "You're married to a man who doesn't value what he has. And the sad part, you're the one who pays for his mistakes while he gets to start over every time." Meanwhile, across town, Kirk sat alone in a sterile hotel room, staring at the city lights bleeding through the curtains. His phone buzzed relentlessly, texts from producers, calls from Jock, even a long-pointed voicemail from Mona. But the one message he was waiting for never came. Rasheeda hadn't answered a single call. He dialed again, his thumb trembling over her name. But this time it went straight to voicemail. "Rasheeda," he began, his voice heavy. "I know I don't deserve a second of your time, but I can't let this end like this. Please, let me explain. Let me fix this." He hung up, knowing the words sounded hollow even as he said them. Kendra, in her own apartment, sat upright in bed, phone in hand. She scrolled through comments that split the internet in two, Team Rasheeda and Team Kendra. Memes painted her as a homewrecker, while others praised her for standing in her truth. She saw one post that made her pause on Instagram live from Jasmine, sipping wine and smirking as she said, "Looks like Kirk's got a new storyline. Can't say I'm surprised." The comment section went wild. Some accused Jasmine of gloating, others begged her to spill more details. Kendra threw her phone across the bed, her chest tightening. She whispered to herself, "This isn't a storyline. This is my life." By the next morning, the chaos had spilled into the cast group chat. Messages fired off like bullets. "Jock, bro, what the hell were you thinking?" "Carly, Kendra, girl, you better prepare for war, because fans ain't playing with you." "Jasmine, funny how history repeats itself, huh?" Rasheeda didn't respond to anyone. Her silence was louder than words. When filming resumed 2 days later, the tension was so thick the crew could barely move through it. Rasheeda arrived first. dressed in black from head to toe, sunglasses hiding her swollen eyes. She didn't greet anyone. She didn't even look at Kirk, who sat nervously on the opposite side of the lounge set. Mona entered with the authority of someone used to putting out fires. "All right," she said firmly. "We're going to handle this with discipline. No screaming over each other. No walking out. This isn't just your lives anymore, it's the livelihood of everyone in this room. If you want to talk, talk. If you want to fight, do it with words." The cameras rolled. Rasheeda removed her sunglasses, her eyes red but blazing. She looked directly at Kirk. "You humiliated me again. In front of the world. And you expect me to just sit here and act like this is normal?" Kirk shifted uncomfortably. "I never expected this to come out the way it did." "You didn't expect it," Rasheeda's voice rose. "You didn't expect that cheating on your wife would lead to consequences. You didn't expect that sleeping with someone from this very circle would explode in your face." Kendra spoke, her voice firm. "Don't twist this into me being the villain. Kirk came to me. He told me things that made me believe he was done with you. He told me he was lonely, that he felt like a stranger in his own marriage." Rasheeda turned to her sharply. "And you believed him? You took his words and ran straight into my home. You had a choice. Kendra, don't act like you were powerless." The room buzzed with tension. Jock shifted in his seat, muttering, "Man, this is out of control." Carly, never one to hold back, leaned forward. "Let's be real. Kirk's been playing the same game for years. Different women, same lies. And every time Rasheeda's the one cleaning up his mess." The cameras zoomed in as Rasheeda's lips trembled. "I can't do it anymore," she whispered. The room froze. Even Mona's face softened. "What are you saying, Rasheeda?" "I'm saying this marriage is over," Rasheeda declared, her voice breaking. "I gave him chance after chance. I forgave when I shouldn't have. I stayed when I should have left. But this is the final straw." Gasps filled the set. Kendra's eyes widened. Kirk's face drained of color. Jock buried his head in his hands. Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high. And the family was left divided like never before. The declaration hung in the air like smoke. No one dared to move, as if shifting in their seat might shatter the fragile silence Rasheeda had left behind. Her words, "This marriage is over," didn't sound like a threat. They sounded final, like a door slamming in a quiet house. Kirk's lips parted, but nothing came out. For the first time in years, he looked genuinely stunned. The man who had talked his way out of scandal after scandal was suddenly speechless, staring at his wife as though he no longer recognized her. "Say something," Rasheeda pressed, her voice trembling. "Anything." Kirk swallowed hard. "I don't want to lose you," he managed. "I made mistakes, but I don't want this to be the end." "Wanting and deserving are two different things," she shot back. Kendra leaned forward, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. "I never meant for it to get here. I didn't plan to hurt you, Rasheeda. I just what?" Rasheeda snapped. "Just wanted what was mine. Just wanted the comfort of believing Kirk's lies. Don't act like you're innocent in this. You knew what he meant to me, and you still crossed the line." The room tensed. Mona raised a hand to keep things steady, but the cameras zoomed in, drinking in every drop of venom between the women. Carly spoke next, her voice sharp. "We've all made messy choices. But this is beyond messy. Kendra, you came into this circle knowing the history. Jasmine already blew this man's life up once, and instead of learning from that, you walked the same path." Jock shifted uneasily, clearly torn. "Carly, chill. Kendra's my wife. Don't forget that." Carly rolled her eyes. "Your wife just confessed to carrying your boy's baby. You think I'm supposed to chill?" Jock opened his mouth to respond, but Mona cut in firmly. "Enough. We're not turning this into a screaming match between castmates. Focus." Rasheeda's voice cut through, softer now, but filled with pain. "Do you have any idea what it feels like to constantly question your worth? To give your life to someone, to build businesses, raise children, keep the family together, only for him to break you again and again." She looked directly at Kirk. "I'm tired of patching holes in a boat you keep drilling through." Kirk leaned forward, his hands clasped, his eyes pleading. "I can't undo what's been done, but I can fight for us. I can fight for this family." Rasheeda shook her head. "You don't fight for family by destroying it." The cameras panned to Kendra, who pressed her hand against her stomach. Her voice cracked. "I'm not asking you to forgive me. I just don't want this child to grow up in the middle of hate. I want peace, even if I have to raise this baby alone. That's exactly what's about to happen, Rasheeda muttered, her tone cold. The set was heavy with tension, but producers knew this was reality TV gold. Every second, every tear, every broken sentence would be cut into previews, teasers, and promos that would dominate timelines for weeks. But what no one expected was Jasmine stepping into the fire. She leaned back in her chair, sipping water with exaggerated calm. "Y'all acting like this is brand new," she said. "Kirk's been Kirked since the day he stepped into this show. Y'all mad at Kendra, but the real problem is him. Y'all just don't want to admit it." "Shut up, Jasmine," Kirk muttered, his patience cracking. "No, let her talk," Rasheeda interjected, her eyes narrowing. "For once, I want the other women to speak. Go ahead, Jasmine. Tell them all how it feels to sleep with someone else's husband. Maybe then Kendra will see what she signed up for." Jasmine smirked, though her eyes flashed. "It feels like a mistake I made once. A mistake I learned from. But the difference between me and Kendra, I never thought Kirk would change. She actually believed him. That's on her." The words hit Kendra like a slap. Her face flushed, and tears stung her eyes. "You don't get to sit there and mock me," she hissed. "You don't know what I've been through." "Oh, I know," Jasmine said coolly. "I know the pattern. Kirk whispers about being lonely, about needing someone who understands him, about feeling trapped. And then he makes you feel like you're saving him, like you're special. Until the next woman comes along." Kendra turned to Kirk, desperation in her voice. "Is that true? Did you feed me the same lines you gave her?" Kirk closed his eyes, his silence damning him more than words ever could. Rasheeda let out a bitter laugh. "Congratulations, Kendra, you're not special. You're just next." The cast gasped collectively. Even Mona's lips parted slightly, though she quickly masked it. Jock tried to intervene, his voice urgent. "We can't do this like it's a war zone. This is my wife, y'all. You might hate what happened, but stop tearing her apart like she ain't human." Rasheeda turned her fire on him. "Your wife is pregnant with my husband's baby. Don't you dare ask me to treat her gently." Jock looked away, shame written across his face. Mona clapped her hands once, loud and sharp. "Enough. This is spiraling out of control. We're going to take 5. Everyone, step outside, get some air. When we come back, we'll have a conversation like adults." The cameras cut, but the chaos didn't. Outside the lounge, Rasheeda stormed down the corridor, Shirlene close behind, whispering fiercely in her ear, "Don't you cry another tear for that man, you hear me? You walk out of here with your head high." Meanwhile, Kendra retreated to a quiet corner, her shoulders shaking as she cried silently. Jock followed, crouching beside her. "Baby, I didn't know," he whispered. "I didn't know it was Kirk. You blindsided me too." Kendra shook her head. "You're going to hate me forever." Jock's jaw tightened. "I don't hate you, but you put me in the middle of a nightmare I didn't ask for." Back inside, Kirk slumped on the couch, staring at the floor. Carly sat beside him, her voice low. "You realize you just blew up everything, right? Your marriage, your friendships, your reputation, it's all ash now. And this time, Rasheeda ain't gonna rebuild it for you." Kirk rubbed his temples. "I know," he muttered, "but I can't lose her. Not like this." Carly gave him a long, pitying look. "You already did." By the time cameras resumed rolling, the cast returned to their seats, their faces harder, their guards higher. Mona leaned forward, eyes sharp. "We can't change what's happened, but we can decide how to move forward. So here's the question. Where do you all go from here?" The silence that followed was louder than any fight, and just like that, Atlanta has been thrown into chaos once more. Kendra's bombshell has left the set in shambles, Rasheeda broken but unbowed, and Kirk scrambling to pick up pieces that may never fit together again. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and the family was left divided in ways that might never be repaired. So where do we go from here? Will Rasheeda finally shut the door on Kirk once and for all? Or will she find herself pulled back into the cycle of heartbreak and forgiveness? Can Kendra survive the storm of public backlash while carrying a child that has already become the center of one of the most scandalous dramas in love and hip-hop history? And what about Jock? How will he deal with the fallout of his own wife being entangled in the mess? The questions hang heavy, and the answers may shake the very foundation of the show. But one thing is certain, this story is far from over. Every look, every tear, every whisper of betrayal is only fueling the fire, and fans everywhere are demanding the truth. Now it's your turn. Do you believe Rasheeda should finally walk away from Kirk for good, or does he deserve yet another chance to prove himself? Should Kendra be celebrated for her honesty, or condemned for breaking up a family? And what role do you think Jasmine still has to play in this unfolding disaster? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We're watching to see whose side you're really on. Don't forget to hit that like button if you're living for this drama, subscribe so you never miss the next shocking twist, and share this video with your friends because trust me, you'll want everyone in on this conversation. This is just the beginning.